All right. So, last review of the day is for a film called Nickel Boys. So, Nickel Boys is based on a Pulitzer Prize winning novel there by Colson Whitehead called Nickel Boys there. And so, this is based on real life events there at the Nickel Academy, which was in Florida. And the academy lasted between the 60s and the 2010s. It actually recently it shut down in the 2011. And this academy in Florida had numerous accounts of the students who went to this academy being tortured, beaten, raped, killed. They discovered there were mass graves of the boys of this academy discovered when they did some digging around it. Um, and so, all that kind of, came up there, and there was a book that came out by Colson White that detailed a lot of this and discussing what happened to a lot of these boys while they were at this academy there. And what this movie is doing is telling kind of a, like I said, a kind of a fictional tale of this about, these 2 boys, about their experience here at this academy. You do have, the titular character in this who's Elwood, in this there, and he's, got this promising future, and that he makes one wrong mistake in his life, and that's getting into a car that he doesn't know is stolen. The police pull that guy over who's driving the car, and then he ends up going to this nickel can, which is basically like a juvenile detention type center there. Because he's 17, he can't go to prison, so he goes to like this juvenile detention type center. And yeah, you see what you see through his eyes, even literally, because as you notice maybe from the trailer, this has a POV, most of the time POV, kind of look to it, where you're literally kind of in the body there, and seeing through the eyes of the Elwood character, and then it kind of switches off. It's then him, and then it goes to another character who he meets and befriends at this academy, Brandon Wilson, who plays Turner in the film there, and you see, so it kind of switches back and forth between the both of them, and with that, you get some really great shots in the movie. The look of the movie is really gorgeous there with some of the shots of the film there, and some really interesting they do direction wise. And the person who directed this film is Ramel Ross, who's the director of this. And he also wrote this movie as well. And he as well. And this movie is also set up for Best Picture. I just talked about another Best Picture nominee, The Brutalist. This is also nominated for Best Picture as well. And, from what I understand here, so this is kinda one of his bigger things that he's directed, this director there, and I would say he's got a really great future. I'd love to see him do some more work after this. And, yeah, I mean, just seeing, you know this movie, and people might hear the premise of this and what it's all about and think, "Oh, this is black trauma porn type stuff kinda going on here," with this, of seeing people get brutalized and seeing people get killed. It doesn't really do that. The film doesn't focus too much on, I would say, that aspect of it. I mean, it's there and it's happening, but the movie doesn't cut the scenes of boys being beaten or tortured or anything like that. I mean, it's happening. It's said to be happening. You hear sounds of it happening, but you don't actually see it yourself, and so your mind, obviously, what's kinda going on there, and what's happening there, which I do appreciate, and I do like that they do that, because it doesn't try to, wallow in this trauma and then exploit the trauma that, these, kids at this academy did go through there, but it does, you know, kind of you see and is stressed about, how dangerous of a place this was. Um and you also see this kind of dynamic there at this academy, between how these boys live, because you have kind of, this was the 60s, so you had like a segregated side of the academy. You had the white side, you had the black side. You see the stark difference between how the white boys are treated versus the black boys were treated, and how that kind of there was that difference in the movie. Um, the thing about it is, with this kind of POV look to the movie there, like we see that scene there where one character's talking and you're seeing it, you don't see like kind of a more wider shot with both their faces in. You just see a shot with kind of with you're looking like the person's talking directly to you. And, I feel like it's a little bit of an issue with the movie there, how they kind of have that. Because it just I felt like it doesn't really connect you much to what's going on as much as I think the director wants it to. And the director explained with the kind of the POV nature of it, that you're supposed to feel like you're actually in the body of these characters and going through what they are going through. But it's kind of hard to connect to them very much, as the characters, I think, because you have such this kind of POV kind of look to it, with it. And at some points of the film there, with the kind of POV nature, I've heard that some people felt a little sick, you know what I mean? Because you have
Yeah.
some scenes where the camera's kinda like, it's moving with the people there. You kinda got that going on, so there's maybe somebody will feel a little nauseous kinda with that kinda experience, and there's been other movies who've used that. I mean, this is, like Hardcore Henry, for example,
Yeah.
that's like a action film, so of course it's kinda gonna make you feel like that. This isn't like, the camera isn't moving like that, I mean, with something like Hardcore Henry.
Yeah.
Uh
POV is a very interesting camera angle to use in movies, especially if you want it to be it can be intimate, but usually it's usually used for like a smaller wide or a 180 line
yeah.
so that you have both characters in there or one character, and so you have a frame of reference. Having it as a POV can oddly get distracting.
Yeah. And I understand the purpose of why the director did it, but I think, like you say, it can be a little distracting of the story you're trying to tell
Mhm.
there. And the movie, also, cuts in real life footage there of like his, civil rights movement figures like
Mhm.
MLK, because the character Elwood is a huge fan and admirer of MLK and what MLK says and does there. So it kind of almost has this feel also like it's a documentary slash fiction film as well. It kinda made me think, well, I kinda wanna see maybe a documentary about this
Mhm.
instead of maybe a fiction film about these 2 kinda characters. Maybe I wanna actually see a documentary about the accounts of from the actual people, that actually went to the Nickel Academy, and real life kind of accounts from those people instead of just watching a fictional film. I kinda had that more feeling to it. But still, I mean, this was great to actually, find out about this story. I'd never heard about this before. I'd never heard about the Nickel Academy before, and kind of what went on there, and what was kind of this horrid nature of it. Um, so yeah, I mean, this was great to kind of learn about this. I want to buy the book and check the book out and read that and get
Mhm.
that as well. Yeah, good performances from the leads here. Brandon Wilson, like I said, he's in this as the Turner character. I've seen him some other stuff. It says here he was in the Way Back. I think I do remember him that. That was the Ben Affleck basketball movie. I think I do remember him that. You have Anjanou Ellis, who's in here, who always is really reliable, always really great in everything she's ever in there. She's been fantastic there and everything. You have her. You also have the actor who right now is voicing Batman right now. His name. Let me see if I can find his name real quick. He plays one of the people that are is the institution there, is one of the instructors for the
Mhm.
institution. Hamish Linklater, he plays that actor there. He's in it. So it's rounded out, and also the actor we just saw in Gladiator 2, Fred Hinchiger, who's one of
Mhm.
the Roman emperors, in that he's also in this. Kind of in another slightly sadistic role in this as well for him. So hey, he's got a type.
I
He
guess you
knows
do. I
and
guess you do.
he knows what to do there. So for me, I would give this movie a strong tune in. For me, I'd give it a tune in,
Okay.
to strong tune in. I think the POV stuff kind of weakens it. Um, the intercutting of the kind of real life footage in it. I've seen movies do that as well. They'll intercut, real life footage into it. But the way they do it here kind of almost feels like, I kind of maybe want to actually see more of a documentary rather than
I
this
see.
fiction film. So yeah, good tune in for Nickel Boys.